story of a dangerous obsession with female beauty. It's called Snow White and the...
There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Let's stop pretending this was a coincidence. The Simpsons didn't just predict Rachel Zegler's Snow White disaster, they foreshadowed it, mocked it, and animated it with unsettling accuracy, years before the film even existed. They knew how this story would end before the press releases dropped, before the casting announcements, before the PR nightmare unfolded. And now, with Snow White 2025, officially one of Disney's biggest embarrassments in recent history, fans are asking one very specific question. Did The Simpsons try to warn us? Because when you stack up the episodes that aired decades ago with the chaos of this film's rollout, it's not just eerie, it's brutal. It's like Zegler walked into a trap The Simpsons had already laid out in full Technicolor. So buckle up, because this isn't just a list of predictions. This is a beat-for-beat dissection of how Springfield's finest saw Rachel Zegler's Snow White downfall coming and laughed while doing it. Let's start at the top. Season 20, Episode 20. 4 great women and a manicure. Lisa Simpson takes on the role of Snow White in a feminist retelling that dumps the prince, mocks the kiss, and rebrands the fairy tale as a lesson in empowerment and independence. It's bold. It's loud, it's different.
Weird.
And it totally flops. Now, fast forward to 2023, Rachel Zegler is cast in Snow White and immediately begins trashing the 1937 original in interviews.
There's Krabby, Drunky, Hungry, Greedy, Lenny,
Kearney,
and Doc.
Queen playing the evil queen. It was pretty amazing.
Who wants a movie about true love? What kind of woman do we want out there seeking true love, Eliana? The outrage.
She calls it creepy. She mocks the prince. She says it's not empowering, not relevant, not for today's audiences. Sound familiar? It's the Lisa rewrite. Copied, pasted, and shoved into real life. And just like in the episode, it didn't work. Focus groups allegedly hated it.
Wicked Queen.
HD TV on the wall. Who's the fairest one of all?
They say all you have to do to make your wish come true is let it echo, 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 echo.
It's awful, generic. Never mind that the lyrics make no sense at all. All you have to do to make your dream come true is let it echo. Is it like on a metaphor?
Parents didn't buy the merch, kids didn't connect. The movie was supposed to be a legacy-defining reboot. Instead, it became a cautionary tale. Lisa tried to rewrite Snow White. It tanked. Zegler tried to rewrite Snow White. It tanked. Simpsons. 1. Hollywood. 0. Season 16. A Star is Torn. Lisa wins a talent competition and gets swept into the entertainment machine.
Snow White's heart in this box.
What'll I do with the rest of the body?
Put it in this box. Then you'll get your reward.
I sat through the whole thing. This was really bad. It was extremely leftist on every political dimension. Racial politics, sexual politics, class politics, regime politics. Its narrative was cowardly. It was just awful.
At first, she's the star, the prodigy, the golden child. But the second she starts speaking her mind, the studio flips. They don't want truth, they want control. Rachel Zegler followed that exact path. She entered the industry with buzz.
All that will wake her is the kiss of a handsome...
I'm awake!
Now, I'm guessing that she's not married. I'm guessing that she doesn't have kids. The movie is a complete disaster, by the way.
She had West Side Story, she had a Disney crown, she had the press behind her. Then she opened her mouth, and the industry turned. She mocked Disney's past, publicly, called their history weird, laughed about being the anti-princess, and...
I'll take a green one.
No, take the red one.
They spent $170 million to make the thing, and it had the lowest opening, under $50 million, of any of these live-action Disney remakes that they've ever had.
Behind the scenes, insiders say execs went into panic mode. Merch partners started backing out. Halloween pre-orders for Snow White costumes were reportedly way below expectations. Rachel didn't just speak her truth. She torched the bridge as she walked across it. And just like Lisa,
Snow White was brought back to life by a lady doctor.
Doing catastrophically. They spent $300 million and it currently has a 2.2 out of 10 rating on IMDb.
The movie has a major identity crisis.
she learned that Hollywood doesn't forget when you mess with their money. Season 7, Radioactive Man. Milhouse gets cast in a major movie. The studio thinks it's a win, but the set turns chaotic. the direction is off.
Controversy in Snow White. The dwarves have been eliminated in the live action.
Yeah.
Now it's Snow White and the 7 magical beings.
Wait, it's 7 and the magical beings.
Yeah,
They won't even
7
say
magical
and the 7
beings.
dwarves.
No, because they're not dwarves. For right now, that's the only jobs that are there.
Have they ever thought about maybe like a little bit of like, I don't know, vulnerability study, opposition research, that sort of thing, before you go and hire some Zoomer who's a lunatic?
The budget spirals, and by the end, the whole project implodes. This episode is basically a documentary about Snow White, 2025. Insiders claim production was rocky from the start. Zegler allegedly clashed with writers about tone. Marketing teams were constantly shifting focus. Some press junkets were even canceled last minute with no explanation. The whole thing felt cursed, just like Milhouse's movie. And when the trailer dropped, fans weren't excited, they were confused, nobody could figure out who the film was for. And the ones who were interested quickly lost faith once Zegler's past comments went viral again. The Simpsons predicted the casting chaos. They predicted the flop. They even predicted the exit strategy. Just walk away and pretend it never happened. Now, in season 4, Krusty gets canceled. Krusty the Clown gets one last chance at fame. He pulls out all the stops, a big special, a huge relaunch. It's supposed to be his resurrection, but it bombs. Zegler's Snow White was framed the same way. This was going to be her moment, her immortalizing performance, her Disney legacy. Instead, it became her anchor. Krusty crashed and burned. So did Rachel. And here's the kicker, Krusty still had fans. Zegler, not so much. Next, in season 8, the Itchy and Scratchy and Poochie show. The studio panics. Ratings are down, so they add a new character, Poochie, to make the show cooler. It's forced. It's fake. It flops. Zegler's Snow White followed the same formula. Disney tried to update the story. They leaned into buzzwords. They chased headlines, and audiences saw right through it. In the episode, the audience boos. The studio gets embarrassed. The character is pulled. Sound familiar? Rachel's version of Snow White didn't just flop. It became a meme. Not my. Snow trended harder than the actual movie did. Some fans even called for Disney to scrap the film entirely and re-release the original instead. This wasn't just a failed reboot, it was a masterclass in what not to do. Lastly, in season 17, girls just want to have sums. Lisa joins an all-girls school that teaches math through emotion. It sounds empowering, it sounds modern, but it's a disaster. Zegler's Snow White tried the same thing. It wrapped itself in empowerment. It talked a big game, but under the surface, the writing was thin, the character was flat, and the message, ironically, was lost in the noise. Even people who wanted to like the movie couldn't defend it, because you can't just slap on a message and call it a masterpiece. The Simpsons proved that years ago. Let's be real, this wasn't just a misfire, it wasn't just a reboot gone wrong. It was an ego explosion disguised as a fairy tale revival, and The Simpsons saw it coming like a tornado in slow motion. Rachel Zegler didn't just sign on to play Snow White. She signed on to torch its legacy with a smirk and a soundbite. She wasn't interested in honoring the story. She was interested in rewriting it in her own image. Louder, preachier, and completely detached from what made it timeless in the first place. The original Snow White was beloved for almost a century. Rachel showed up, rolled her eyes at it, and said, "We're doing something different." But here's the thing, she never earned that authority. She hadn't paid her dues. She hadn't built goodwill. She walked into the castle with a crown made of tweets and assumed the audience would kneel. They didn't. They logged off. They dragged her. They turned on her faster than a poisoned apple bite. And why? Because ego, plain and simple. She thought her version of Snow White would redefine what a princess looks like. Instead, she became a cautionary tale about what happens when an actor confuses buzz for legacy. The Simpsons didn't just predict her downfall, they mocked it ahead of time. They animated Elisa Simpson so smug and out of touch that audiences in Springfield tuned out. That wasn't fiction anymore. That was Rachel in real time. Press tour after press tour, she delivered lines like she was lecturing the very fans she was supposed to enchant. And then she acted shocked when the enchantment shattered. And when the backlash hit, she didn't reflect. She doubled down. She tried to spin the narrative, tried to paint herself as misunderstood. But nobody bought it, because the receipts were everywhere. Interviews, clips, socials. She documented her own downfall like a reality show contestant who thinks they're the main character even while getting eliminated. What made it worse? The timing. Hollywood is brutal, and she knew it. One wrong move and they'll ice you out. But Zegler acted like she was untouchable, like the rules didn't apply to her, like being a modern princess meant disrespecting the classic that gave her the stage. And now, she's reportedly being quietly dropped from projects. Studio execs allegedly flagged her as volatile behind closed doors. Merch numbers flopped. Casting directors are whispering that her name isn't worth the insurance premiums. And worst of all, no one's rushing to defend her anymore. Not even Disney. The Simpsons, they didn't have to make a sequel to show us what happens next. We already know. Zegler's Snow White will go down not as a bold reimagining, but as the poster child for what happens when arrogance replaces authenticity. When a lead actress confuses clout with connection, when she thinks the audience owes her attention rather than the other way around. Hollywood didn't ruin this movie. Rachel Zegler did.